show you a couple of basic things. I'm going to tie a few knots in the rig. So I'm going to start off with a Palomar knot, Alberto knot. Start off with an Alberto knot, so I'm put on my leader. I like to do about my arm's length, maybe a tad bit more depending on the length of the rod. This is a little bit of a shorter rod, so I might go a little shorter, but basically almost the length of your rod, 6-7 feet. Always good to wet your line. We're going to double up on our braid. Make yourself a little loop there. And come through that loop. Give yourself a pretty good length to tag in here. And there's your double line we've created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. I like to do 10. Some people do 7, 11, whatever floats your boat. I like 10. It's a nice number. I seem to be able to get it back over itself pretty easily. That's what we're going to do on this next one. So don't fret if you have it to where it's come back over itself. We can do what we call dressing our knot here in a second. We're going to come back through that loop and just gently pull that over. Squeeze it down with our fingers and everything's back to where it should be. I'm going to pull the tag end on your braid first. And that is a very strong knot. I've really never had many of them break off on me. Usually snaps right at the edge of the knot. Every now and then my braid will even snap before the knot snaps. Very rarely have I had this come loose if I got caught in some kind of snag, a tree or something like that. And you pull hard enough to get it loose and you end up just pulling this whole knot loose. And you can tell when that happens because your braid will just kind of be rolled up rather than frayed from snapping. And I've found probably almost every time that's happened it was user error. I just didn't do a good tie on that. So now we've got our leader. I'm going to take an octopus hook. We're going to use 8 to 10 pound tests, depending on how clear water you're fishing. I'm doing 10 pound tests. It's been pretty good to me. Kind of best of both worlds. It's a little bit harder for them to see, but you still get pretty good abrasion resistance and just overall durability. So you're going to want to leave yourself, depending on how far you're fishing. I like to do usually about 1 foot 10 inches. So I like to be not too far off the bottom. But you can go all the way up to 1 foot. You can go 18 inches. Really kind of just depends on what you're fishing. If you're fishing, heavy weeds, you can still pull a drop shot through that. You just might want to go with higher leader, or rather higher tag end on the bottom here for where you're going to leave your sinker. So you might do 12, 18 inches if you're wanting to stay on a rocky bottom, maybe replicating bait fish or some creatures down there low. You're going to want to stay around 10 inches, 6 inches, somewhere in there, a little bit lower. I mean, you could probably go all the way down to 4 inches if you wanted to, but you might have more snag issues. Now, a lot of times people will show you the trick to come back through your eyelet. If you tie it right, which I've found, if I remember correctly, it's coming through the side that you want to stand up. So getting your hook to stand like that, and we're already there. But little trick in case you don't do that right, and you can still do it even if you do it right, is to come back through your eyelet. So now your hook's standing up nice and correctly. Then, very simple, just overhand knot here. sinker. For drop shot, I like to a lot of times use these kind of stick sinkers at this nice little spot here where you can just pop your little square knot through. You're just going to pull it tight. And there you have it. A drop shot rig. I've got a really long one on this. This will probably be good for some weeds. And then for bait, you can totally, wacky rig if you wanted to, a little Senko or something on there. I use that a lot. A lot of times you can do some kind of creature or a grub. It's the beauty of drop shot is you can present a lot of different style baits in different areas of the water column, which makes it a great presentation, especially for finesse fishing when you have some finicky fish in clear water. And there you have it, your drop shot. And when this is pulling on the bottom like that, it's going to stand up that bait. It's going to give it a nice little wiggle to it. You just want to nose hook it like I did here. You can try and thread nose hook it like that, but a lot of times it'll pop off a little easier. But it does give it a little bit nicer presentation there. And there you have it. That's a drop shot. Tune in for more.